If someone was smooth talking, making moves, they had Riz. But they were striking out, well, zero Riz.
All right, everybody, welcome to another deep dive of Holo AI Podcast, Episode 2. I'm your host, Hoshimachi Suze.
And I'm your cute host, Sakun Miko.
And let me tell you, today's going to be a wild ride through the internet rabbit holes. We're talking about those slang terms you've probably seen popping up everywhere. Mewing, Riz, Sigma male, the ones that make you go, wait, what?
Definitely unique.
It's putting it mildly. But hey, that's what we're here for, right? To decode these internet mysteries. And thankfully, we've got Know Your Meme entries to guide us, which is always a good sign. Because let's be real, these might seem like just random words, but they actually say a lot about what's going on in online culture.
Oh, absolutely.
So, shall we dive in? Where do you even begin with something like mewing?
Well, it all starts with this British orthodontist, Mike Muir.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. He basically believes that the way you rest your tongue in your mouth, like all the time, can actually change the shape of your jawline, like make it more defined.
You're kidding.
Nope. The idea is that by pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth, you can promote forward facial growth.
Yes.
Especially in the jaw.
So it's like natural face tuning.
Pretty much. And the internet ate it up. It started gaining traction around 2014 on YouTube. YouTubers like Astro Sky documenting their mewing journeys.
Oh, I've seen those. There was even one by Judy Neptune, I think, claiming to reshape her facial structure, though I think that video got taken down.
Yeah, it can get a little controversial.
I bet, but it's not just YouTube, right? Didn't mewing end up on some interesting forums, too?
Yeah, places like Red Pill Talk, which is,
That name rings a bell.
It's definitely a corner of the internet. Red Pill Talk is part of what's called the manosphere. You know, those online communities that have very specific views about, shall we say, masculinity and relationships between men and women.
Right. Maybe we can unpack that whole manosphere thing another time. It's a deep dive all on its own. But it's wild how a concept like mewing can go from YouTube beauty tutorials to that.
Well, it shows how interconnected these online communities can be. And how an idea, no matter how out there, can resonate with different groups for different reasons.
Totally. And it wasn't just forums. Remember that article in the Coventry Telegraph about mewing? Like, it was some new health craze.
It goes to show you the power of the internet. Something starts as this niche trend, and then suddenly it's being written about in mainstream media.
People are always looking for that quick fix, especially when it comes to how they look.
Absolutely. Self-improvement is huge online, and physical appearance is a big part of that. So, mewing, as strange as it might sound, taps right into that desire.
Like some kind of internet magic trick for your face. Okay, so from jawlines to, well, this one's a bit different. Ever heard someone use the word Riz?
Oh yeah, Riz is everywhere these days.
It's like the ultimate compliment, right?
It's more about, how do I put this? A guy's ability to attract women effortlessly. Think charisma, but turned up to 11.
Effortlessly, huh? That's the dream. So where does Riz word even come from?
Twitch, believe it or not.
Oh, really? I never would have guessed.
See, it all started back in 2021 with these two streamers, Kai Cenat and Silky. They're doing these hilarious E-Day streams, just reacting to each other's game.
Oh, I think I remember those streams. Weren't they the ones who came up with the term?
They sure did. If someone was smooth talking, making moves, they had Riz. But they were striking out, well, zero Riz. It was all in good fun.
Yeah.
And the chat went wild for it.
But basically, it's just a fancy word for charisma.
Pretty much. But it's the way they shortened it, made it all, they basically just chopped off the front and back of charisma, and boom, instant slang. And then it just exploded like wildfire.
Hell.
But it gets even better. Hold on to your hats, because then came unspoken Riz.
Okay, I'm listening. Unspoken Riz. So what makes it different?
This is next level stuff. It's like you're not even saying anything, you just have this aura, this magnetism that draws people in. Effortless, cool. You know, like,
yeah.
Just walked into the room and just oozed unspoken Riz.
Wait, that's a whole different level of smooth.
And that idea of effortlessness is what makes it so powerful. Unspoken Riz taps into this deep-seated desire for effortless charisma, which, let's be honest, is super valued in our society, both online and offline. Think about all those images we see on social media, in movies, everywhere, of people who just seem naturally cool and confident.
It's true, it's everywhere you look. So how did Riz make the jump from Twitch chat to, like, The rest of the internet.
TikTok, mostly.
Hmm.
You had creators like the Kids Midi and the Limit Obby making hilarious videos about Riz, analyzing celebrities, doing skits, you name it, it was inescapable. Twitter was next,
Right.
with everyone from regular people to, like, big brands trying to use the word.
It's like everyone wants to prove they've got that Riz.
And that's how language evolves in the digital age. Couple of Twitch streamers come up with a word, it takes off on TikTok, and the next thing you know, it's exactly. Riz actually made it into the Oxford English Dictionary as Word of the Year in 2023.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone from mewing, this quest for the perfect jawline, to Riz, the art of effortless charm. Now let's talk about something a bit more complex. Let's talk about the Sigma male.
Ah, yes. The Sigma male. The lone wolf of the internet.
This one has become both a badge of honor and a punchline. So for anyone who hasn't been initiated, what exactly is a Sigma male and where did this whole thing come from?
Well, it's his archetype, right? The Sigma male is the rebel, the outsider who exists outside the traditional alpha-beta hierarchy. They don't play by society's rules, they're indifferent to social status, and they achieve success on their own terms.
So like the ultimate individualist.
Exactly. And they often have this quiet confidence about them because they're not trying to fit in or prove anything to anyone.
Sounds a little bit like that unspoken Riz we were just talking about, actually. So where did this Sigma idea come from? Was it like a Reddit forum or something?
Surprisingly, no. The term actually popped up way back in 2010.
Wow, 2010, that's ancient history in internet years.
It was coined by a writer named Voxday on his blog.
Voxday, the science fiction author.
The very same. He was writing about different male archetypes and used pop culture icons like Han Solo and Clint Eastwood characters as examples of the Sigma ideal. You know, the strong, silent types who always get the job done.
Right, right. But the term didn't really take off until much later, did it?
It had a bit of a slow burn.
Hmm.
It wasn't until 2021 that Sigma male really went mainstream.
What happened in 2021?
It all started with a single tweet.
A tweet, really? That's all it took.
Sometimes that's all it takes to light the internet on fire. It was a tweet by @LilySimpson1312 featuring this infographic of Sigma male traits. You know, things like independent, resilient, enigmatic, and the internet just went wild for it.
So everyone wanted to be the Sigma.
Or at least figure out if they were one. Suddenly everyone was either identifying as a Sigma or making fun of the whole concept.
And of course, where there's internet hype, there are memes.
Oh, absolutely. Sigma Grindset is a perfect example.
Right, with the motivational quotes and the black and white photos of like wolves howling at the moon.
It's this weird mix of celebrating and critiquing hustle culture at the same time.
Yeah, like I'm a lone wolf grinding away at my goals, but also this is all kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
Precisely. It's very tongue-in-cheek. It's funny how Sigma male, even with all the jokes, kind of shows how some men aren't happy with the usual way we think about masculinity.
Yeah, like it's not as simple as alpha or beta anymore.
Right? It's like they want another option, a way to be successful and respected, but without fitting into those old-school alpha stereotypes.
Totally. It's this image of being quiet and confident and relying on yourself that really works online, especially with how competitive everything is these days. But then you've got those Sigma Grindset memes, which are hilarious.
Exactly. They make fun of the whole hustle all the time thing.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, I'm working hard alone towards my goals, but this is also kind of crazy, right?
Totally self-aware.
Yeah.
They get that being a Sigma can be too much.
For sure. It makes you think about all the pressure on men today and how they deal with it all online. Speaking of dealing with stuff online, remember how we were talking about online communities and how they change language and culture?
It's like they have their own little world.
Exactly. And gaming and esports are the perfect example with all their own slang and memes. They even have their own social ladders. That's wild. And lately, there's been this super interesting thing happening called NPC streaming.
Now that one really makes you stop and think.
Right. It's one of those things you got to see to get. So for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, NPC means non-player character. Basically, those characters in video games that are controlled by the computer, not a person.
Like the background characters, not the main ones you play with.
Exactly. So NPC streaming takes that idea and makes it real. Streamers act like these super normal, repetitive characters and stream themselves doing, well, basically nothing.
It's like watching a fake version of everyday life, but it's also ironic and self-aware, which makes it weirdly interesting.
I know, right? They'll eat the same food every day, say the same things over and over, or just stare at the camera for hours without any expression. Had you seen those streams where they just blink?
It's so strange. It's like they're doing the opposite of what we expect online. We're used to streamers being these big personalities, always talking and trying to get the audience excited. But NPC streamers are the opposite. They don't do much at all. They're kind of robotic, almost boring.
No.
But for some reason, you just can't stop watching.
It's like a break for your brain from all the noise online.
Right. It makes you wonder about being real and putting on an act in the digital age. Are these NPC streamers really being themselves by acting fake? Or is it just another character they've made, even though it's a really meta one?
That's the question, isn't it? It's like they're showing how silly it is that we're always on and trying to impress people online.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? We want people to be real online, but we're also drawn to those perfect edited lives.
It's true. And the crazy thing is, with NPC streaming, it's not even about the streamers themselves, really. It's about the communities that pop up around them. People watching, chatting with each other, trying to get these robotic streamers to react.
Wild. It's like a big social experiment happening live. You've got one person pretending to be this emotionless robot, and then all these other people putting their own thoughts and feelings onto them.
It's like we were saying earlier about mewing being the internet's magic trick. Well, this is like its weird philosophical cousin or something.
Definitely. And it just shows how much we want to connect with others, even the strangest way.
Absolutely. It's like that's what makes us human, right? Wanting to connect with people, find meaning in things.
Totally. Even when things seem random, we find patterns and make them mean something. It's fascinating.
Which brings us back to where we started. We talked about wanting that perfect jawline with mewing, figuring out dating in the digital age with Riz, understanding what it means to be a man today with the Sigma male, and even finding comfort in totally bizarre stuff like Skibidi Toilet and NPC streaming.
And as weird as all of that might seem, it gives us a peek into what the internet is all about.
It's not just silly trends coming and going. It's about what stresses us out, what we want, and how we're trying to understand this crazy online world we're all part of.
Right. It's like we're all working together to write this giant, ever-changing dictionary of how we talk online.
And each new trend, as strange as it might be, adds another word to that dictionary.
And if we pay attention to those words, if we look a little closer, we can understand not just the internet, but maybe even ourselves a little better.
So true. Next time you see something weird trending online that makes you scratch your head, don't just scroll past. Stop for a second and ask yourself, why is this a thing?
What does it say about us? What does it say about what people are worried about or hoping for? You might be surprised by what you find.
I'm going to set it better myself. A huge thanks to everyone for joining us today for this deep dive into the weird and wonderful world of internet slang. Until next time, stay curious out there.